know, they mad at her, man, because she basically fucked off their whole image. And every rapper nigga and everybody thinking like everybody's a fucking video hoe, like just take a bitch in the back and pull your dick out, put it on her forehead, she gonna put it in her mouth, you know what I'm saying?
I think it's very disrespectful, and it gives us all a bad name when girls go out there and they mess with the artists or whatever just so they can get that good look.
I think that when it comes to girls like that, you know, writing books of accounts of everyone that they've been with in the industry, I think that goes to show the artist that maybe, you know, you shouldn't pick the girl that sleeps with you to put in your video. You should pick the girl that's just qualified.
She definitely got her money, but at the same time, it made us all look kind of fucked up. I mean, you can't knock anybody's hustle. She did what she had to do, you know. She messed with a lot of people. She wrote a book about it, and it made her a gang of money.
Well, no question about it. The mentality of a woman like that is clearly understood, you know, in Wet's and Jamie Foxx's song, a gold digger.
I think there's a lot more greediness involved in that world of the hip hop and the girls wanting. They want to hold on to something like that, the Jimmy Choo shoes and the bags and the bling and stuff. It was different. It was very different. And I'm not judging those people. It's a very hard time to be alive. Whatever you can hang on to, fine.
But we got women that are so one-sided, where they think Christmas is only for them, Valentine's Day is only for them. Why should I always just think it's for you? You should think it's for me too, because that's what Valentine is. What's good for her is good for you. If I can give you a candy, you can give me some roses. Fair exchange ain't no robbery, and that's what should be an understanding between the male and female. You're getting some real gang here now. Y'all ought to listen up.
Preach on, Bishop. Preach on. No doubt the ladies love the bling, and many of today's hip-hop groupies are well-equipped to make a career of trading sex to taste the luxuries of celebrity life. And no groupie was ever more skilled at this than the one and only Superhead. In the introduction of her first book, Miss Steffens unapologetically declares that she grew up with dreams of living the Beverly Hills lifestyle with fancy cars, expensive clothes, and posh mansions. She wanted to be rich, powerful, and famous. But those were lofty aspirations for a poor girl who grew up in an abusive household on the small Caribbean island of St. Thomas.
Being an island girl is a lot different than being just a regular American at all. Our upbringing was more European, our education was more British, and we don't have the same personal body sexual issues that everyone else in America might seem to have. So I didn't grow up with all of those insecurities. But we grew up, what I figured out later on was poor. I didn't know it was poor at the time. Like, we didn't have hot water. We had to bathe out of buckets to save water. I've never been aware of luxuries. You know, and then moving to Los Angeles, it's a place of opulence and waste and glamour and all those things. So it's a lot different than where I come from.
But before she found herself caught up in the glitz and glamour of Los Angeles, Corinne was making paper by shaking her moneymaker at an Arizona strip club where at age 17, she met hip-hop legend Kool G Rap. They moved in together, and eventually G would father Corinne's son, Naeem. However, in the book and in multiple talk show appearances, Corinne depicts their 3-year relationship as violent and abusive.
Now, I interviewed recently Kool G Rap, and he said that 90% of the things that you say in this book about him are not true at all.
G has every right to be upset because his business is out there. He beat the girl before me. He don't take care of none of his kids. It's not just me.
She's a lying bitch, gangster. I'm gonna keep it real.
One person who strongly questions Corinne's credibility is Kool G Rap's current wife, rapper Ma Barker.
So you guys been married 8 years?
Yeah. I've been together for a long time.
So why don't you talk a little bit about Superhead and her past relationship with Kool G?
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you said past, because a lot of people was like, oh, so how you and G-Rap relationship doing? You know, that he was, you know, dealing with Superhead while he was with me. I said, no. Let's check that first of all. Barker don't get played like that. She was before me, you know what I'm saying? But I knew the situation. I knew he had a baby mother or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I knew her as Izette. She lied about her name. I told you, her name was Izette. When he met her name was Izette. He didn't know her as Corinne.
He also claims he didn't know how old you were when you guys moved in together.
He did not know how old I was until after I turned 18.
So he was 28 and you were 18 years old?
18, and he found out because I had gotten arrested for breaking a glass or something, and the police let him know how old I was.
And then the cops asked her for ID and all this stuff, come to find out her real name, her age, everything. He said he was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't even know this person he was with, you know what I'm saying? Then when she got pregnant, had the baby, you know what I'm saying? It was cool, but he said it just got to a point where he couldn't deal with her no more. She took the baby. G was getting ready to leave to go to New York, and he has all documentation for this. She pulled up in the parking lot, threw the baby, and just pulled off in her car. She left him, threw him out in the street. Like, this is when he was like around 1, he could barely walk. She didn't look back. How you put a baby in the street? You didn't even make sure he was with his father. G had to take that baby to New York with him. He had to go to the police because he couldn't take a child from one state to the next, you know what I'm saying? He didn't know she was gonna say, well, he kidnapped the baby. At the end of the day, people were gonna say, well, Barker, you wasn't there when they had their relationship, you don't know what's what. But see, me and her talk. See, she got G-Rap's cell phone number. She called him, hit him. You know how chicks do. Hey, Pa, how you doing? So I'm like, what the fuck you mean, Pa? What you talking? You know what I'm saying? Like, he got a wife now. Respect that. You know what I'm saying? She was like, oh, ain't nothing like that, Barker. Me and her got cool, but G already told me, like, yo, Barker, watch her. I'm telling you, she put me through a lot of shit. So I'm like, you don't want to, there's always two sides to a story, his and hers. So I'm like, how bad could she be? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. She started calling me every day. Do you hear me for hours a day? She crying to me. I'm living in a shelter right now. I don't got no food for my kid. She told me she had another daughter. She was like, yeah, my daughter was just born. She told me the daughter name is Nala. Everything told me the baby date, a fake baby. A baby that didn't exist. What kind of woman sits there and make up a child that don't exist? You gotta be crazy. It's not about just selling books now. This is before her book came out. This is me and her having a one-on-one conversation, and I'm asking her about Nyla. Remember, the baby got a name, everything. And she's really actually, oh, she's fine. Oh, she looks like me. You know what I'm saying? She's getting big. I mean, she's having a real conversation with me about a baby who don't exist. So I'm like, oh, she got a girl, a boy, you know what I'm saying? I'm feeling for her now. So I'm like, I started sending her money. I don't care if it's my kid or not. I'm gonna make sure a dude take care of his kid. I finally even got G to get on the phone to talk to her. That was so good. She started crying. Oh, G, you know what I'm saying? Oh, let the son talk to him, whatever. Everything was cool. Like, everything was good, you know what I'm saying? But when she got the opportunity and got on her feet, she shitted on him. You know what I'm saying? Dad be dad, he's this, he that. He beat her ass and all this stuff. Like I said, I've been with G 8 years. I'm a gangster, straight up Brooklyn, East New York in the building. We don't play those games, you know what I'm saying? I'm me and G, and I done said shit to G in the heat of the moment that if he was the type of nigga to beat up his ass, I'd have got my ass beat. He might have got shot after that. But, you know what I'm saying, at the time, you know what I'm saying? It was cool, you know what I'm saying? Nah, G is like, he not the type of dude that'll put his hands on the female.
Are we gonna get a cool G-Rap movie?
I hope so in the near future.
I mean,
with
the Superhead thing and your career, I mean, it's a movie. She did it, you should do it.
My movie wouldn't be based around that, to be honest with you.
Right.
You know what I'm
No,
saying?
not all around it, but you know how that go. Do what she do, you know what I mean?
Well, I guess the G-Rap autobiography will have to include that part
Right.
too, you know what I mean?
Your side, you know what I mean?
Diaries of
Your way,
Rap.
your story. So in a minute,
The real story.
Whatever the truth is of her history with Kool G Rap, one thing is certain. Having an old school hip hop legend for a baby daddy helped integrate Corinne with the urban elite when she eventually made her way to LA.
A lot of the artists that came around me felt some kind of empathy because I have a son by someone that they revere, but that son wasn't being cared for.
And here she was a mother with a young baby. They were just taking it for, you know what I mean, trying to help her. And she took that kindness for weakness. That's a prime example of a groupie.
I became jaded enough to look back and say, oh, okay. You did this with me, to me, for me, because of me, and nobody cares how they leave you. And LA does that. Ice-T
took her under his wing and fed this girl and put a roof over her head.